Hi, I'm Nikki Tierney, registered dietitian, personal trainer from A Healthy Balance, and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about proper form when exercising. Improper form is one of the most common causes of injury with exercise. Now, we're not going to be able to show you every single thing because there's a lot of different pieces of equipment and different types of workouts, but I wanted to show you proper form on some of the more basic, commonly used bodyweight exercises. Lunges are a great way to incorporate all of your lower body muscles, but oftentimes people do them incorrectly and that can lead to knee injury or knee pain. When you're lunging, you want to make sure that not only you're stepping out straight, but step a little bit to the side so that your foot is still in line with your hip. You want to make sure that you're not crossing over at all. You also want to make sure that when you step forward, you take a large enough step so that as you lunge down and lower your body weight, both of your knees are at a 90-degree angle. If you take too short of a step and your front knee is coming over your toe, that can lead to increased pressure and more risk of knee injuries. Squats are another one that can be a great way to incorporate all of your lower body muscles, but oftentimes people don't do them properly. First thing to keep in mind is that you want to have your feet about hip width apart. You want to keep your chest and your torso up nice and tall. You don't want to be bending over. And you want to make sure that your weight is back on your heels. Again, if your weight is coming over the front of your body, if you can feel your heels coming up off the floor, that's going to put more pressure and strain on your knees. It's also not going to target your glutes the same way as it would if you kept your weight back on your heels. Push-ups, whether you're doing standard push-ups or a modified push-up with your knees down, you want to make sure that you start with your hands under your shoulders. When you come down into your push-up, you want to come down, bring your chest down as far to the floor as you can, but make sure that you keep your shoulders and your hips in line. You don't want to have, your butt sticking way up in the air, but you also want to make sure that your hips aren't coming down before your shoulders are. That can put more strain on your low back. Crunches or sit-ups are one that oftentimes people don't really engage their core or their abdominal muscles when they're doing them. And a lot of times I see people that look like they're more pulling on their neck versus lifting their body weight up with their abdominal muscles. So whether you're doing crunches or you're doing sit-ups, when you think about keeping your core tight and engaging your core, you want to think about bringing the bottom of your rib cage to the top of your hip bones and really contracting that muscle so that you can feel it tighten. So when you're doing sit-ups and crunches, you should really be contracting these muscles versus pulling yourself up with momentum. Bicycles is another great ab move that can incorporate not only transverse abdominals and obliques, but oftentimes people don't have proper form on it. So when you're doing bicycles, you're going to focus on bringing your opposite knee up to your opposite elbow. Again, you want to make sure that you're really engaging those core muscles, not pulling with your arms. When you're extending your legs out, you want to make sure it's a slow, steady, controlled motion and that you're extending your legs out straight. If you start to feel it in your low back, you can always aim your feet a little bit higher towards the ceiling to alleviate some of that pressure. And the last one is plank. Plank is a great way to incorporate all of your core muscles, and it's a stability move. You want to be able to hold a plank for anywhere from 10 to 60 seconds. The one thing with plank is, similar to push-ups, you want to make sure that your head, your shoulders, and your hips are all in line. You want to make sure that you don't have your hips drop too low because that'll put strain on your low back. You also want to make sure that you don't have your hips too high and your butt sticking up in the air because that's not going to engage all of the muscles that you're targeting. So I hope you've enjoyed these tips, and we'll see you next time.